I've been making flutes now for about 15 years as a full-time endeavor. And it's interesting to me. There have been times during that 15-year time frame where, I've got a little bit bored with what I was doing and would was just kind of coasting maybe a little bit. And then there have been other times when I've been just really, really excited about what we're doing. And that's kind of my normal state, is a state of pretty high energy and pretty high excitement. And it's definitely a place where I am at right now because of what we're doing in terms of making flutes easier for people to play. And so the flute that I have to show you right now is one such flute. This flute is made for a woman who is concerned about several different things with it. She's concerned about the size of the instrument. She's a little worried about it being too large for her to play. She just got a low F flute from me in a rustic style, and we offset or articulated the finger holes for her. If I play right hand down, then I articulate that bottom hole to the right and articulate the left hole to the left. The top holes, the bottom hole goes to the left. So I did that for her on this low F flute, and she just flipped out. She's so excited about how easy it is for her to play it. And now this is a low C, so this is a lot bigger flute than that low F. And so she's got a little bit of concern about being able to play it. And if she had to play it straight on, the fact is that she wouldn't be able to play it. There would be too many things that would be causing trouble for her. Primarily, the bend in the wrist right here. For her, that bend would probably be something like this, and a real significant bend, which is going to put a lot of stress on the ligaments and make it very hard to use the fingers, as well as just creating quite a bit of pain. And so the goal is to eliminate that stress on her body and allow her to still be able to play the big, deep flute that she wants to play. And so the way we do that is with a side blow. Now recently we've come out with the Easy Clean side blow design, which is a design that utilizes some ebony here with 3 O-rings on it. The O-rings seal against ebony. This little ring of ebony looks like just a little piece of ebony, but actually it goes clear down into this grenadillo. And so this is a fairly complex flute in its construction. And that ebony then seals against that, those O-rings. And I can move this in any position that I want. Positioning that side blow, this would be like the 90 degrees. Here would be maybe 0, and we want it at about a 45. For me, that 45 degrees works really, really good. That's going to allow me to hold the flute down like this. Now I hold it down and across my body. Depending, men and women are built differently. For that reason, for some women, they ask me to make this mouthpiece portion here longer to give them more room to be able to maneuver the flute to where they need it for their body. And so we can change the length of this tube. We can change that to manage pretty much any body structure that we need to. This one is just kind of an average for the average person. And so this comes right up to my mouth here. My head I keep straight. It's tempting to bend your head like this and hold the flute to the side like that. That's tempting, but it puts a crick in the neck over time. So I like to keep my head going straight forward. And then I just have my hand, right here, my right hand comes right to my rib cage, and it just rests there and then can cover the finger holes really easily right here. And so then it's easy to play. Now, because the bend is now gone from the wrist, her ability to stretch her fingers more and reach a greater stretch is increased dramatically. It's a huge increase in what you're able to do from here versus like this. The difference is enormous. And so it's going to make the flute very easy for her to play. The other thing that she's worried about, though, is she's worried about the weight of the instrument. How can we take some of the weight of the instrument so that it doesn't hamper her ability to play? Unfortunately, I don't have it with me right now to show you, but what we have made is we've made a thumb rest for this flute, and that thumb rest will go somewhere right in here. And I'm going to actually ship the flute to her with the thumb rest, and then she'll take the thumb rest and she'll position it where she likes it, and then tape it in place, and then send the flute back to me, and we'll attach that thumb rest to that position. What the thumb rest does is it takes all of the weight of the flute and it puts it onto the thumb in this direction, so that it's kind of pushing down on the thumb like that. Now, the reason that that's important is if you don't have the thumb rest, in order to hold the flute, you have to squeeze it. You have to actually squeeze the flute. With the thumb rest, you don't have to squeeze it at all. You can actually lift your fingers up off of the flute, and the flute will just sit on the thumb rest. And so that allows her fingers to move freely without having to worry about the weight of the instrument. And so I'm really, really excited about this idea of the thumb rest. I've done it before in the past, but for whatever reason, I didn't really make the jump into how important the thumb rest can be for some players who are wanting to play heavier flutes, but those heavier flutes are preventing them from being able to move their fingers the way that they need to move them. And so by taking and putting the weight onto the thumb and taking it off of them having to squeeze the flute to hold the flute, then that frees them up and makes it easy for them to play. So some of the different things that we're doing ergonomically to help people be able to play the flute. And I'll go ahead and play this. This is a Grenadillo flute, by the way. It's a custom Grenadillo, not a Grenadillo classic. It has, of course, the shoulders, and it has Sugilite inlay, and just awesome Sugilite inlay coming down the flute. It's just awesome, awesome instrument. Just gorgeous, gorgeous sounding instrument. So I'm really super excited for her to get that, and we'll be shipping that out today. The next flute that I want to show you also has articulated fingers. This is made for right hand down play as well. And this particular flute is for a client who a number of years ago he purchased an old style classic from us, one of the Taos Old Style Classics. And the Taos Old Style Classic has a great big mouthpiece. The diameter of the flute does not change at the mouthpiece. It doesn't neck down or narrow down into a tip like the regular mouth flutes do. It just stays big, and it has a great big 5/8 inch hole that goes all the way in to that's the whole slow air chamber. And when he first got one of the Taos Old Style flutes from me, he was very, very hesitant to buy the flute because he was really worried about how that would feel on his lips. And I said, you know, most people, once they play a Taos Old Style flute, they find that the Taos Old Style actually is way more comfortable to play than almost any other flute design. It doesn't look like it would be, but it is. And the reason is you don't put your mouth over the flute. You actually simply rest the flute on your bottom lip and then just push the flute up against your lips. Like that. And it's very, very comfortable to play. beautiful. And now when it's time to clean the flute, he's got full access and he can swab out the flute really, really easily. There's all sorts of swabs that are made for standard flutes that will fit into this whole great big fluffy things that he can just swab that out and clean it out, take the totem off, let it dry, and it dries and cleans very, very easily. And so he's actually started going through his flute collection and selling his flutes off that don't have the large mouthpiece, because he wants this style mouthpiece on all his flutes because it's more comfortable and it allows him to clean the flute out. So it's I don't do it on all of my flutes because it doesn't have that sleek, sexy profile, and not everybody loves the way that it feels. But it is an option. There's many different things that we can do that are wonderful options to help the flute be personalized to you, and to help it do what it is that you want the flute to do. I'm Brent Haynes. You can reach me at 801-822-1415 or brent@woodsounds.com.